Facebook group, or sige. So, not present yan na. Only the four of us.
Points, sir. Plus points.
Four of us.
The four of us. So, how was your prelims? Tapos na ka mga tanan ng your subjects?
Okay naman,
Dari po,
sir.
sir.
Diri pa?
Naman, sir.
Ano ba nga mga subjects? Diri pa?
Maray po, sir.
Tima na tanan.
Tima na nga tanan. Okay.
Uy, tima na may business research pa.
Okay, nakita na nito yung results sa niyo quiz? Exam? Na-send ko na ba? Na-release ko na?
Yes.
Na-release ko na,
Maray pa ako, sir.
Ani ka duwa nga quiz, sir.
Ano, sir? Kita to, sir.
Ani ka duwa, sir, nga quiz paray.
Gmail.
Maray pa, okay. Sige. So, this tonight I will release your scores. Dire kasi ito nyo makikita once dire ko release.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sige. Once again, guys.
Hulog, sir.
Waray hulog. Sure ako waray hulog. Okay, sige. Let's proceed to our proper discussion. Tonight we will be discussing individual taxpayer or individual taxpayers. So, what is individual taxpayer or who is individual taxpayer? Individual taxpayer, as defined, it is a natural person with income derived from within the territorial jurisdiction of a taxing authority. So, napansin niyo, it is a natural person. So, individual taxpayer is a natural person. Ibig sabihin, tuod na tao, may nahinga, may blood, nakiwa. So, any natural person that derived income within its territorial jurisdiction is liable to pay tax. So, they are considered as individual taxpayers. So, ikaw, ako, Hira, na mga tao na aniha Philippines, doing business within the Philippines, is considered individual taxpayer. So, they are natural person. It is emphasized nga natural person kasi meron natin mga taxpayers na mga juridical. So, later on, we will also discuss kung hino ito nga mga juridical person. So, by now, we will discuss or focus on natural person or individual taxpayer. So we have classifications, 4 major classifications of individual taxpayers. So we have the resident citizen. Ayop guys, binasa na yun niyo. Ginbasa na ba yun niyo? Hello?
Hello, sir?
Ginbasa na niyo. Ini nga ato topic.
Waray man, sir, kuan.
Waray pa man, sir.
Waray man ng reference, sir.
Waray ng reference. Gin-post ko yun nato ng FB group.
Wala ka po nini sir mag-upload sir?
Waray pa, sir.
I did. Kita yung Facebook.
Group chat?
No,
sir, or
FB
Facebook group?
Ay, sir.
Meda. So, sana ginbasa ni.
Waray, mong kami, sir, makakuan. Ano ba?
Lima, no? ACLC.
Ano yun, sir? October 18.
Sumayhan na, ano?
Pwede na ngayon.
Ayan, notes, individual taxpayers. Sige, anyway.
Yes, sir. May na.
18 pa ngayon.
Sige, okay lang.
Yan na naman, sir. Tensya na, sir.
Sige, okay lang. Kaya na-focus ka matayo exam. Sige. So, we have one resident citizen. Second is non-resident citizen or what we call NRC. The third one is resident alien. And the fourth one is non-resident alien. The non-resident alien is regrouped into two. We have the non-resident alien not engaged in trading or business, and a non-resident alien not engage in trading or trade or business. We have the NRA ATB and NRA NETB. So, sino ba
NATB.
resident citizen? So, a resident citizen is a citizen of the Philippines who resides in the country. So, dapat residente hiya ha Philippines and at the same time citizen hiya ha Philippines. Asa gintawag iya nga resident citizen. Citizen hiya Philippines at the same time resident hiya ha Philippines. So duduha dapat it present nga da. Citizen of Philippines and at the same time currently residing in the Philippines. So
Philip
Hino ba
Philippines.
it citizen of the Philippines? So under the Section 1, Article 3 of the Philippine Constitution, citizen of the Philippines is one born or by birth with the father or a mother as Filipino citizen. So bisan usala dida it Filipino, it could be a father or a mother nga Filipino, iton nga bata is now considered citizen of the Philippines by birth. Kay ginanak hiya na usa nga tatay or usa nga nanay nga Filipino citizen. The second one is born before January 17, 1973 of a Filipino mother who elects Philippine citizen upon reaching the age of majority. And the third one is acquired Philippine citizenship after birth or by naturalization in accordance with the Philippine law. So may da naton mga iba nga mga citizen nga di may da naton iba nga mga race nga diha Philippine pero naging Filipino citizen nila or naging citizen nila Philippines is because they opted to become a Filipino through a naturalization. So nagpa-naturalize sila kaya natawag sila nga citizen of the Philippines or usa na nga Filipino citizen. So una, dapat imo tatay or imo nanay Filipino citizen para ma-consider ka as citizen of the Philippines. The second one, born before January 17, 1973 of a Filipino mother who elects Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority. And the third one is by naturalization in accordance with the Philippine law. So, hinoliwat it non-resident citizen. So, maram na kita nga citizen, hito nga mga tutulo na criteria. Dapat at least usa nga da percent to be considered as citizen of the Philippines. So, paano natin makonsider nga he is a non-resident citizen? So, ibig sabihin, citizen niya Philippines nga, he is not currently residing in the country. Citizen nga hawiya pero not currently residing in the country. So, a non-resident citizen of the Philippines, he is a citizen who is physically present abroad with a definite intention to reside therein. So, ibig sabihin, usaya ka citizen of the Philippines but he is physically present abroad with a definite intention to reside therein. So, ibig sabihin, there is a definite intention. Kumbaga, kung adto ka abroad but you have the definite intention to reside in the other country. So, kaya na-consider hiya na non-resident citizen of the Philippines. The second one is citizen of the Philippines who leaves the Philippines during the taxable year to reside abroad, either immigrant or for employment permanently. So, a citizen of the Philippines daw who leaves the Philippines during the taxable year for the purpose of residing abroad as an immigrant or for employment. So, kung you will leave the Philippines for employment, any country abroad, then you are now considered a non-resident citizen of the country or of the Philippines. So the third one is a citizen of the Philippines who works and derives income abroad and whose employment requires him to be physically present abroad most of the time during the taxable year, not less than 183 days during the taxable year. So kung you are physically present abroad for at least 183 days, so total days abroad ka nga nag-inukoy for 183 days, 183 days, then you are considered a non-resident citizen of the Philippines. The fourth one is a citizen of the Philippines who has been previously considered as a non-resident citizen and who arrives in the Philippines at any time during the taxable year who to reside permanently in the Philippines shall be treated as non-resident citizen for the taxable year in which he arrives in the Philippines with respect to his income derived from the sources abroad until the date of his arrival in the Philippines. So halaba. So naintindihan nyo ba? So ano daw, ini nga na fourth criteria, he is a considered a non-resident citizen kung, for example, he reside permanently, he returned to the Philippines at any time during the taxable year to reside permanently in the Philippines. So, bumalik na siya nga the Philippines. Let's say, for example, from January to June, he is considered as non-resident citizen. However, on July 1, bumalik siya Philippines for permanently residing na nga diha Philippines. So, from January to June 30, he is considered as non-resident citizen. However, on July 1 to December 31 for that certain year, he is now considered as resident citizen. Pero for the income purposes, for computation of his taxability, that income derived from January 1 to June 30 abroad, he is considered as non-resident citizen. So, his income from January 1 to June 30 is not taxed. Diriya igbubuwis. Ang income from January 1 to June 30 is not subject to income tax in the Philippines. Kaya those times from January 1 to June 30, he is still considered as a non-resident citizen. Pero since umabot siya sa Philippines on July 1 and he decided to reside in the Philippines permanently, then from July 1 up to December or current period, he is now considered a resident citizen. Pero from the January 1 to June 30, he is still considered a non-resident citizen. So dapat maaram kita ano ang purpose or what's the purpose of a returning person in the Philippines. Kung if he wanted or he decided to or he is deciding to reside in the Philippines permanently, then pag arrive niya sa Philippines and up to the present, he is now considered at that time na resident citizen. Pero hanwaray pa siya mag-decide to return to the Philippines and reside permanently, then he is considered as a non-resident citizen. Let's check kung may na ako ng example for that. Ayan, we have an example. Mr. Balikbayan returned to the Philippines on July 31, 2020. During the year, he earned income as follows. January 1 to July 31, 2020, he earned 50,000 income, $50,000 as an income. And then on August 1 to December 31, 2020, Mr. Balikbayan earned 700,000 pesos. For income tax purposes, Mr. Balikbayan is a non-resident citizen from the period January 1 to July 31. Thus, his income abroad is not taxable under the Philippine tax laws. So, ibig sabihin daw, since he is a non-resident citizen from January 1 to July 31, 2020, and $50,000 nga income ni Mr. Balikbayan abroad is not taxable within the Philippine tax laws. However, during the period kung saan he already arrived in the Philippines and then earned income in the Philippines, such income derived or earned within the Philippines is now considered taxable under the Philippine tax laws. Any question? Clear? Hello?
So,
Hello guys?
Nakakuha man, sir.
Oh, okay.
nakakuha sir, and
So,
within the ano, date.
yes. So dapat kikitaw natin when we talk about income subject to tax, we have to consider who is the person, individual taxpayer. Dapat we have to note kung who is that person. So una, dapat we should know kung anong klaseng citizen siya. Is it a resident citizen or a non-resident citizen? So kung we know the fact that he is a citizen of the Philippines, we need to know kung if he is currently residing in the Philippines or not. So if he is not residing in the Philippines, then he is considered a non-resident citizen. So if we know that he is a non-resident citizen, then all the income earned outside Philippines is not subject to tax. However, all income earned or derived within the Philippines is subject to tax. So that is for a non-resident citizen. We don't have any problem for the resident citizen. It's because all the income derived within or without, ibig sabihin, all the income earned or derived outside and within the Philippines is taxable. So, resident citizen, worldwide and iya income. Ibig sabihin, tanan nga na income niya earned worldwide is subject to tax. However,
Tax.
if the tax person or the taxpayer is considered a non-resident citizen, then ang iyala income earned within the Philippines amo la ang subject to taxation. So clear?
Clear,
Clear.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thank you. So another example of a non-resident citizen is what we call mga overseas Filipino workers, mga OFWs. So ini nga mga OFWs, resident citizen citizen of the Philippines sila pero they are working abroad. So paano man nila makag-work abroad kung di hira makadto always or permanently residing dito. So they are considered is a non-resident citizen. Ini nga mga OFWs, overseas Filipino workers. So clear, we have the resident citizen and a non-resident citizen. So let's go to the resident alien. Hino ba ini nga resident alien? So resident alien is an alien who resides in the Philippines on a more or less permanent basis, must be present in the Philippines for more than 12 months from his arrival to the country. An alien who lives in the Philippines with no definite intention as to his stay. So class, kung an alien is residing in the Philippines for more than 1 year or 12 months from his arrival to the country, then he is now considered is a non-resident alien. He is now considered a resident alien. So kung also if a alien o foreigner, plus foreigner na alien is a foreigner. Resident alien is a foreigner. Bayan inisip ka mo nga alien ng mga mga UFO.
UFO.
Oh. Alien, ang gisisirin natin nga alien mga foreigner ni Hera ha. Di riton alien nga unidentified flying object. UFO.
Grabe.
So, resident alien, mga
Wala ka
foreigner in
Resident
Iraq.
Evil.
Mga foreigner nga residing in the Philippines for more than 12 months. Or a foreigner ko no who lives in the Philippines with no definite intention as to stay. Diri hiya maaram kung tubtubsan o hiya mag-stay nga diha Philippines, then he is considered is a resident alien. So clear. So kung pag-ulpot ni foreigner ha airport nga diha Philippines, maagihira ha immigration. So pag interview nga to ha immigration officer, so nga sir, ano timo purpose nga diha Philippines? I have no definite purpose. Diya maaram kung magaano iya nga diha Philippines, or he has no definite intention as to stay. Diya maaram kung tubtubsan o hiya nga diha Philippines, then he is considered an resident alien. Or kung nag-stay na yang diha Philippines for more than 12 months, then he is considered a resident alien. So let's go to non-resident alien. So a non-resident alien is an individual whose residence is not Philippines and who is not a resident or who is not a citizen of the Philippines. An alien who comes to the Philippines with a definite purpose. So kanina, ang resident alien, di riya maaram kung saan hiya tubtubsan ula hiya mag-stay, di riya maaram. So a non-resident alien naman, he is not particular on his purpose in the Philippines. Why he is in the Philippines? So he is considered a non-resident alien. What I mean is he has a definite purpose in the Philippines. So kung mayroon niya definite purpose in the Philippines, then he is considered a non-resident alien. Kumbaga, pag-ulpot niya Philippines, umagaya migration, napakianat immigration na siring hilaya nga. I just want to meet my boyfriend or girlfriend here in the Philippines. I just want to stay here for 2 months. And then I will go back to my country. So gusto lang niya kumita tiya boyfriend or iya girlfriend kaniya Philippines. So that is what we call non-resident alien. Maramihiyat iya purpose lang nga diya Philippines. Pag makipag aibula hiyat iya uyab nga diya Philippines.
All eyeball.
Oo, nakipag-aibol lang yang nga diya uyab nga diya Philippines. Then he is considered a non-resident alien. May naman kasi niya definite purpose. Why he came to the Philippines. He has a definite purpose. So kung may definite purpose ka, then you have the definite number of days to stay in the Philippines. So maaram an immigration kung up to when la ini nga foreigner will stay in the Philippines. So since we know that it is only for a definite purpose, then he is considered a non-resident alien. So we have yes.
Pero kung maiihaan, sir, ano? Pero kung maiihaan.
So kung maiyaan niya, naabutan niya 12 months, overstay na siya nga diha Philippines. So bibil ngo na siya na immigrants, DFA. Kaya niya dito passport is only good for let's say 2 months or 3 months. Tatakan la kasi ito ha DFA, ha immigration kung up to when lat mo visa to stay in the Philippines.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Hello? Okay na?
Okay,
Okay
sir.
po.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So kung may definite purpose and usa nga foreigner, why he came to the Philippines, then he is considered a non-resident alien.
Alien.
Okay. So classification of a non-resident alien, we have the NRETB. So ini nga non-resident alien, he is engaged in trade or business, or if he stays in the Philippines for more than 180 days. So kung nag-stay na diya Philippines for more than 180 days, then he is considered a non-resident alien engaged in trading or business. However, if a non-resident alien stayed in the Philippines for less than 180 days, then he is considered a non-resident alien not engaged in trading or business. However, class, ini nga 180 days, bisan waray siya makag-reach sa 180 days, kung nag-conduct siya in business nga diha Philippines, then he is considered a non-resident alien engaged in trading or business. Ini nga 180 days, more than 180 days, ginkikita lang niya kung there is no conduct of business in the Philippines. So kung nag more than 180 days na hiya, then considered niya na NRA-ATB. Pero bisan wala siya mag 180 days hiya Philippines, pero nag-conduct talaga in business, then he is considered a non-resident alien engaged in trading or business. Oh, gets? Okay. So tips on counting the days. Paano mo mag-count ang days? So di ba class may na naton 31, 30, 28 lang days in a month?
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Oh,
Yes.
ika-count mo
Yes,
talaga
sir.
iton hiya. Let's say for example, January is 31 days. Then you have to count the days as 31 days. Kaya ba magsiring ka na lang sige, i-round off ko na lang 30, 30, 30 na lang per month. No. You have to count all the number of days actual para that is in counting the number of days para hinin na mga criteria. So, to count the days, exclude the first day and include the last day. Let's say for example, umulpot hiya Philippines January 1, tapos umuli hiya January 31. How many days hiya nag-stay ha Philippines? So 30 days. Exclude the first day, include the last day.
Okay.
Yan. That's how you count the number of days. So importance of classification of the individual taxpayers. Kaya ano importante na mabaruan naton it classification. Ano itong classifications naton? We have the resident citizen, non-resident citizen,
Non-resident
resident
citizen.
alien, and non-resident alien, and we have the two classification of an NRA, the non-resident alien engaged in trading or business, and the not engaged in trading or business. So kano dapat mabaruan naton? Una ay situs of income. Ano situs of income? Place of income. So kanina na-discuss natin na income of a non-resident alien derived outside the Philippines is not taxable. Kaya dapat we have to know ano ba it klase an individual taxpayer. What is the classification of the individual taxpayer subject to tax? Para we know which income we have to consider or we have to include in computing the tax. So second is manner of computing the tax. So manner of computing the tax because we have some income that subject to graduated tax rate and final tax. So we should know anong klase na individual taxpayer hiya so that we are guided on what in what manner are we going to compute tax. The third one is treatment of certain passive income. Passive income class is those income that do not exert more effort. Let's say, for example, later on we will discuss passive income. And fourth one is allowable deductions and references in the tax code. So those are the importance of knowing what types or the classification of the individual taxpayers. So various, wrong spelling, various. So various sources of income. We have income derived within or inside the Philippines and income derived without or outside the Philippines. Or without or outside class, the same lang yan. So significance to know the sources of income. So dapat we have to know the sources of income. So taxpayer, RC, resident citizen, tax base niya is net income and then the sources niya is within and without the Philippines. Ibig sabihin, all income worldwide. However, for the taxpayer na non-resident alien, non-resident citizen, resident alien, non-resident alien engaged in trading or business, ang tax base niya is net income, pero ang mga income derived within the Philippines. However, income for non-resident alien, aniya tax base is gross income or gross receipts. Ang source niya is within the Philippines lang. So types of income, adina. Types of income, we have the active income, the passive income, and the capital gains. So ano ba yung active income? Active income, one derived from business or practice of profession. So amit consider naton nga mga active income. Let's say for example, compensation income, nagpa-empleyo ka or you are working for a salary. Let's say for example, I am working in the government. So ang akong sweldo in the government is an active income. Why active income? It's because nag-exert ako in effort in arriving such income. However, for the passive income, arrive from an activity in which the taxpayer does not materially participate or is not involved in the activity on a regular, continuous, and substantial basis. Example of which is the interest income from banks, dividend income from shares of stocks. So if you deposited cash to bank, and then pag end of the month or end of the year, the bank will give you an interest income for your deposits. So those interest income from your deposits is that kind of income is a passive income. Kasi waray mo dito ginhimo nga effort kundi nag-deposit ka la. So capital gains, subject to capital gains tax, example of which is sale of real property not used in the business. Amo lang yan. So any question, guys? Hello? Any question? Pa-open doon yung camera. Ano lang ako, tawag yun eh? Mag-screenshot.
Kaso, mukha niya di ma.
Masirom?
Masirom, sir.
Agad dito.
Hello?
Kaya jakit kuha na diya. Jakit
Sige, sige.
hagna.
Pahin ka din na makagatin ano ha?
Good man, sir. Sanay naman naknganhi.
Sige. So, any question na natin activity? Natin discussion?
Sir.
We have less than 1 minute.
There.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, go.
Pero kung
Yes?
ayun, iulit itaas yan ako na ano eh.
Ano?
Ibalik ba sa taas ba?
Okay.
Choppy.
Yung ano ba yung first ano nyo? Yung
Tas
top
ba?
ng desktop no po.
Choppy.
Hingi na lang po ako ng kopya.
Sure, sure. Ini nga video will be
Ano
uploaded.
man ini, i-upload man ini ano.
Recorded, yes,
Done.
recorded.
Recorded man ini.
Apo. So we have less than 1 minute and it will be shut down.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Sige, thank you guys for your time. I will upload this.
Nag-screenshot ka, sir?
Ah,